What the finance is going on? Now, what is wealth? What is money? What is finance? What is saving? What's investment in today's modern world? We just say it, we don't understand it. What is crypto? It's like a Instagram algorithm. We don't understand it really well. But one man who knows it all too well is my guest today, Mr. Babu Krishnamoorthy. And today he's looking so young. I call him my friend also. Yeah. So with me is the Chief Sherpa from Sherpa Investments. A wonderful man when it comes to wealth management and a finance expert. So hi sir, good evening. How are you?
Lovely being here, Rajiv. Always a pleasure being with you.
There was a lot of enthusiasm from my side. The longest lead I've taken because we've tried different ways to earn money, so it's not worked. I just thought maybe talking to you will be the solution to all of this. Firstly, sir, it's a different world today. It's the world has changed. New normal is something we all are talking about. But one thing that's not changed is the importance, the relevance, and the ideas and the aspirations for money, sir. So talk to me in today's modern world. Are we treating money differently?
See, money has remained a need for everybody, right? But the way in which we manage money has been changing and it will continue to change, right? So, the current norm of money is moving digital. We know it's moving digital, everything is moving digital. Way back 20 years ago, stocks used to be held in the paper format. Now it's in demat form, it's digital form. Cryptos is a digital money, NFTs are coming. So there's a whole new wave of digitalization that's also impacting the money world. And I think all for the good. Except that we need to be a little bit more cautious when we make these decisions. But other things, I'm extremely optimistic.
Now, how do we define a person's wealth? Bank balance, the number of outstanding he's got, the loans, the borrowings. How do you define? Because when we see the richest people in the world, they're often the most depressed and they go bankrupt so soon. So, how do you define a person's richness?
See, richness is a state of mind, Rajiv, quite honestly, right? There is no number to it. You can find a guy who's got a 10,000 rupee bank balance who's extremely comfortable with life, as long as his lifestyle is below that number. The important thing to remember is that if you're earning a certain sum and if your lifestyle is below that number, then you're a rich man, right? If you are if you have an aspiration to live a life that's much higher, unfortunately, you are not earning that. As a result, you're borrowing to keep up that lifestyle, then you're a poor man. That, I think, is how you should look at it because everybody's cloth and need is different.
So,
So
it's
you need
not how much you earn, it's the way you live. Am I right, sir?
absolutely.
That's a different perspective. Coming from a finance man, that's an interesting perspective. Health is wealth. I think wealth also creates your health. If you're wealthier, you're a lot more happy and healthier. Now, if someone wants to say, I want to make 2022 a changing year in terms of my finance. I want to move to the next level of lifestyle. I want to earn more. I want to spend without thinking. I want to buy what I wish to buy. And people have the right to do that. They don't know how to do it. So, can you guide us a bit about how to make a few fundamentals of making 2022 a year that make you a richer person? We're talking money.
So, a couple of quick things that I think are very important when you take a money resolution and you want to kind of keep up and go with it is that take an incremental kind of goal. Most times, what people want to do is, if you're a bus conductor, you want to become a Rajinikanth superstar next day. Rarely happens. Even Rajinikanth as a superstar took 20 years to make it from a bus conductor, right? So I think what's important is to take an incremental goal. So if you're not doing anything at all, do something small. Have a small goal at the end of the year. Second thing is, don't look at a goal post by end of 2022 and not review it. You must have a plan to review it at least once in every fortnight. If you've taken a goal of, say, as an example, I'm just saying, if you want to taken a goal of investing, say, a small sum of money every month, then every 15 days, go back and check whether you're moving towards that goal. Just find out. It may even be a smaller amount than what you originally thought. But as long as you're moving towards that goal, I think you're a winner. You will get there. Most resolutions fail, especially financial ones, because you're not behaving in a certain manner. And many a times people make contradicting resolutions, right? So they want to become richer, but they also want to spend more money. These are contradicting goals, right? So you can't be richer by spending more money.
It comes in phases.
Yeah, so you need to be clear about what is that one thing you want out of money in 2022. If you want to be richer, then you must be able to put aside a lot more money, which will mean you will go out less, spend that much lesser, you'll have that much lesser to spend. But it's something that you have to prioritize.
Don't you think the education system has to change when it comes to finance?
Say, financial literacy in our country has been quite absent, like you rightly said, Rajiv. But I think amends are being made now at a more higher level. There are courses that are starting. Even school children are being included in terms of basics of financial literacy. I think it's important. I think very, very important to understand money a little bit more, even while you grow up. Because many times we see even adults, they earn a lot of money, but they have difficulty in managing it, and that kind of needs some help. And I think the earlier you start, the better it is.
If you're a smart man, you relax and your money works for you. It's not like you keep working for your money. So finance experts always say this one line. I'm like, wow, how do we do that? And that we don't get an answer for. But when does this U-turn happen that you do such a smart move, whether it is the way you invest or the way you save or the way you spend, how do you start making money work for you?
So the simple rule, Rajiv, is that there has got to be a behavioral shift or a mindset shift that one makes if you want money to kind of work for you. And I'll give you a simple example.
Sure.
Right? The traditional way we are all taught of savings is that earning minus spending is saving. That's what we traditionally thought. That's how we kind of come out, right? So what we do is we earn, then we go out and spend all we can, and whatever is left is the saving, and that we kind of usually that's zero. And if there is anything left at all, we kind of do whatever we can, right? But the real smart guy who wants to get money to work for him actually has a different formula. And it's not very different. It just kind of changes these numbers a bit. It says income minus saving is equal to spending. So he figures out early that if I'm earning, say, a lakh rupees or 25,000 rupees, whatever be that number, I want to save, say, 50% of that money, let's say, as an example. And then the balance amount, he then says, this is the amount I'm going to live my life within, right? And I'll figure out where I'm going to spend. So he's not going to be able to say yes to every party that comes his way, every gift he wants to buy.
Every travel, every wish, every desire.
So he's got to choose within those what he can do, what he can't do. But I really think if one were to do this early in life, in the first, say, 10, 15 years, and that money he saves, he gets it to work for him, really that gets you the corpus. And I've seen these successful guys, the first 20 years, by the time they're in their early 40s, have used this beautifully to create a reasonably good corpus. Thereafter, this corpus starts giving them a cash flow that's near about, if not more than what they get from their office. So they're less stressed. They're not kind of dependent on stuff. They can kind of walk away and do something on their own.
Correct.
So all of those possibilities emerge. But the trick is to realize this,
Early on.
early on. Although I'm a finance expert, I do believe you need to live a good life, right? We live once and we need to live a good life. So essentially, I think it's important to live a good life, but I'm against borrowing to live today. That's the concept where I think I differ with a lot of people. I won't use a credit card. Just for instance, I've stopped using a credit card. And if you can live your life within what you earn and save and live your life within that, I think you're financially prudent. Today, what we're finding is people are living out of a credit card, which means they are living today's life based on tomorrow's earnings. And that's not a prudent thing to do.
Talk to the youngsters and tell us today, if we have to invest money, where do you invest? How much do you invest of your savings, sir?
So if you're a young person,
Like me.
Yeah. So if you're a young person and you want to kind of get started, the general rule of thumb, Rajiv, is that 100 minus your age, you can take lots of risks, right? So the idea is, let's say you're a 30-year-old person, 100 minus 30, 70% of all your investments needs to go into investments that have a certain element of risk, primarily because these monies you may not need immediately. You're willing to give it time to grow. So typically you can do equities, you can do mutual funds, you can do any of these things over a long period of time. And many of these do exceptionally well if you give it your 5-year, 7-year, 10-year kind of timelines. So that's what you have the advantage. As you're young, you're not going to retire tomorrow. You have that 20, 30-year cycle. So you can really kind of put these monies to risk.
So talk about compounding and why people have never understood this.
So I'll start with a story, Rajiv. I love telling this with stories. So there's this poor poet in a kingdom in the good old days, and he's kind of not having enough money. So his wife tells him, "Why don't you go and meet the king and request for some help?" So he goes into the king's court, and he says a poem in praise of the king. The king is very pleased. So the king says, "Can I give you a bag of gold coins?" The poet, the poor poet, looks at a chessboard at the corner and he says, "My king, I don't want gold. All I want is a couple of grains of rice as marked in the board of the chessboard." The king and the entire court laughs out. He says, "You're a poor man. I'm here willing to give you gold, yet you want only rice." Right? The guy says, "I will stick with my offer of rice, but only thing is, at the first square, I want one grain. At the next, I want two. At the next, I want four. I want every next circle to be doubling in that. If you could just kind of make that possible, that will be a good payout for my kind of things." The king again asks him, "Are you sure? You're not making a mistake. Gold is much more valuable." The guy says, "Absolutely not." By the time they come to the 15th square, it's more than the granary that is available in the kingdom, in that king's court, right? By the time they come to the end of this, it's more than the entire rice available in the entire kingdom, right? It's worth 20 bags of gold, right? Not one bag. So the point so the king realizes that he has misunderstood the power of compounding and kind of praises the poor poet. This is exactly the story that people need to realize, right? Everybody, what they do is we all want that quick fixes. We want that quick return. Can I make some money in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? But real wealth gets created in that 10-year, 15-year, 20-year. In many cases, I've seen it to be 2.5 to 3.5 crores on a 24 lakh of investment, right? It's
That's
just
insane.
crazy.
It's
crazy.
insane. That's like a lottery, but it's in your control.
Yes, exactly.
So talk to me about crypto, sir. What is your advice to today's generation?
Turkey, for instance, banned crypto because some of their largest investors lost all their money. Their crypto exchanges shut down. People lost money. China has banned crypto because there was a lot of issues around fraud and so on and so forth. So crypto is not all that established as yet in terms of only success stories. Of course, we hear a lot more success stories than failures in crypto.
Yeah.
Now, but I'm going to go a step back a little bit and look at why crypto came into existence itself. And it's important to kind of go back to the basics many a time to look at when you're dealing with a completely new animal like crypto, right? Crypto came in 2008, 2009 when the world was seeing Lehman Brother crisis. And the way US dealt with Lehman Brother crisis was to put a lot of currency out there. Now, since then, we have understood that currencies have started become political. So every country in the world has US dollar, right? So there is a politicalization of currency. Now, crypto came into being to kind of create a separate financial order that was apolitical in nature, doesn't belong to any country, and so on and so forth. To that extent, I do believe it merits a look, it merits a presence, and in the long term, we will continue to see crypto as a independent currency in that sense. It is trying to challenge the political currencies, right? So to that extent, no country will like it. Indian government doesn't like crypto. US government doesn't like crypto. So many of these governments will try and oppose crypto. So it's going to be a little bit of a move up and down for the next 5-10 years. But I do see a merit that crypto is here to stay for
Well,
3 reasons. Right?
please,
Let me
correct,
kind of. One is that the scientific basis behind which crypto is established, which is a technology called blockchain, is a proven, established technology, right? So there's absolutely no two ways. Experts believe it's the best technology to remain. Second is that I think the amount of anonymity that crypto provides and the amount of security it provides is also a proven kind of a system that enables money to flow in quite comfortably.
So do you see India accepting this wholeheartedly, or you think it's going to take some time?
As we speak now, India is only putting in regulations to kind of regulate
Make it
crypto.
safe for
Yeah.
people to invest.
Make it safe. I think make it safe is one part of it. Trying to find a way to tax it also, right? So government is always interested in generating tax. So I think this way they will kind of find a
Correct.
way to regulate tax, catch hold of people who are not paying tax, all of it. So the government is trying to put a regulation around it.
So talk to me a bit about this new version that the youngsters are going gaga about. Insane amount of monies are being spent on GIF, on pictures, on small videos. What is NFT all about? Is this, a scam that people are just spending money on, or is this really something like you buy a bit of real estate on the digital space? What is this, and how genuine is this, sir?
In the physical world, if you created a painting, you went to an art gallery, you displayed it in the art gallery, and somebody came looking for it, bid a price, and if you liked the price, you paid it, you sold it to him or not. Same thing is happening in the digital world. There's a digital art that's getting created that is being put out there for somebody to bid for. Somebody likes it, bids for it, buys that art. And once he buys it, he can also rent it to other people and create a small cash flow stream for himself. That's really the reason. Now, these digital arts are not just art like the regular world, it can be anything. For instance, Jack Dorsey's first tweet itself is a kind of an NFT. So you can have music, you can have art, you can create digital tokens, whatever be that. It's a digital medium of transaction on any stuff, which you can tokenize it. What do you mean by tokenize it? Instead of paying one large price to use it, can I pay a small royalty and kind of use that asset? And while paying that royalty, the person who owns it gets that royalty fee.
Now, you just said Jack Dorsey's tweet that's bought by some person for so many $1 million or whatever. Now, that's his property. But if I still type on Google Jack Dorsey's tweet, I still get the picture of his tweet and I can still use it. So, how does it become his asset? Maybe he owns it on paper, but I can still borrow and use it for free. So, where is the legality and where's the part you need to pay? How do I pay the person and why should I pay that person?
So today, you can't. You can use it in the sense you can casually use it,
Yeah.
but I think commercially for you to use it, like those films or photos that you find on internet, you will still need to pay a kind of royalty there. So it's not yet kind of established in that form, but when it comes to commercially using some of these arts, you certainly need to pay a price for it.
Okay.
Now, these NFTs also come within the crypto exchange. So by and large, you buy an NFT within a crypto exchange by using cryptocurrencies as we speak now. So it is within that embedded space that you get, and the cash flows that you get as royalties also come in the form of cryptos.
Crypto. Okay, so it's completely digitalized. It's not like you get money in your bank account. It is still
No.
crypto.
Yes,
It's all
exactly.
a buy and sell via the digital
It's
space.
within the digital exchange.
Okay,
Yeah.
understood. The year's just started off. Things are already looking difficult, but the variant we want is rich, richer, richest. So, what would be your basic fundamentals where you say, do these few things? This is Babu Krishnamoorthy's word. You'll be richer if you follow this. What would that be?
So my mantra has always been consistency. Discipline beats smartness any day, right? So most times people end up trying to make that smart move and they waste inordinate amount of time getting it right, right? I'd say get something going on a disciplined basis, even if it's less smarter, as long as it's done more often, more consistently. Consistency and discipline is the first mantra. Second is find a goal that you want to fix. Like I mentioned, it has to be incremental. It should not be, 200% over what you currently are, right? Get an incremental goal that is achievable. Smart, the word, specific, measurable, achievable, recordable, and, within a certain time frame. Those mantras you need to kind of keep with you. Review it ever so often, at least once in 15 days or at least once a month. You must review what you want to achieve at the end of it. don't be afraid of taking risks, especially if you're young. Go forth and take risks. Only thing understands that risks sometimes takes times to play out. So you need to give it that time. Give it that 3, 5, 10 years. Sometimes magic happens in these periods. So give it time for risk to play out. And if something goes wrong, don't worry. Kind of be done with this and restart again.
Move on. Yeah.
Move on. You're still young. These are times to take risk. And the most important thing is when something goes wrong, there's a huge learning that we all get. And that learning is the foundation for the next big profit that you're going to make, right? Very, very important when you're young to take risks. So these are some of the mantras that I think one.
These are quite a few mantras. And these are all simple things to do and important things to do. So if you follow this, then we will be on the footsteps of Mr. Babu Krishnamoorthy. As always, been wonderful listening to you. It's one time I like doing the listening and not the talking. Thank you very much,
Always
Mr.
a
Babu.
pleasure. Always.
Wishing you a very wealthy, happy, rich, and a successful 2022. A big thank you to Mr. Babu Krishnamoorthy, the Chief Sherpa from Sherpa Investments. Stay locked in to Chennai Live.
This is Chennai Live, Radio Redefined.